Hi there, welcome to our series of MG ALBA Scots Trad Music Awards 2022 sponsor chats. Today we are speaking to Gary West from the Gordon Duncan Memorial Trust. Hi Gary.
How you doing, Simon? Good to see you. Looking very smart, as always.
Well, thank you. I try my best.
It's a bit chilly here in my bothy. I've got the big coat on here.
It's a nice looking jacket you've got on, so... So the Gordon Duncan Memorial Trust are sponsoring Original Work of the Year in 2022. Tell us about the Gordon Duncan Trust and what do you do?
Okay, so yeah, the trust was set up just a couple of years after Gordon passed away. He died in 2005. Far too young. He was 41 at the time, and I'm sure I don't need to say much about who Gordon Duncan was, and just a genius of a musician and someone who was a real innovator and hugely influential. And after he passed away, his family wanted to set up a trust to give something back to the community that he was a part of, to the wider traditional music community. So they gathered a few of us together that knew Gordon well, and set up this trust. And I suppose the underlying aim has always been just to keep Gordon's name and his music at the forefront of people's minds. To be honest, that's not been difficult because, his tunes have just taken their own route and people play them because they're great tunes and people remember them because he was so inspirational. So that bit has kind of taken care of itself. What we have done, though, was his tunes hadn't really been published. So we've put a couple of volumes now so far of his tunes out there. So that's helped to spread the music far and wide. And that's also helped to fund the other part of what we do, which is to give out grants and sponsorship to support traditional music. So that's very much what Gordon's family wanted. So that takes various forms, but basically we do fundraising to then give out grants of various kinds. And I suppose our main aims there are the promotion of excellence in general and of compositions and innovative compositions in particular, and the general support of young people in music. And we hit a major milestone actually last year, I think it was, or maybe it was earlier this year, but quite recently, where we'd given out more than £100,000, which for a small charity is something we're very proud of. But we've a lot of people to thank for that who have given us money in the first place through various ways to then give out to the wider community. So that's essentially what we do.
Well, that's amazing work. And if anyone wants to find out more about the work, they can go to gordonduncan.co.uk. Now, Gordon is totally linked to the Scots Trad Music Awards, of course, because he played in the very first Trad Awards in Edinburgh in the Queen's Hall, and I remember it because he turned up with his son Gordy. Yeah. And who was playing a djembe, and Gordon was just Gordon. He just kind of rocked up and just did this masterful thing. Were you at the first awards?
I was, yes. Yeah, I remember that well. Yeah, I can't believe it's as long ago as it was, but but yeah, I remember it well. And that's what Gordon did. He rocked up, and then got the whole place rocking. And he was amazing because he was a very quiet, gentle guy, actually. There's lots of infamous stories about him, all of which are true, and I saw most of them. Saw most of them firsthand, as it were. But actually, he was almost an introvert guy until he got the pipes on his shoulder, and then he just had a room in the palm of his hand. It was fantastic. So yeah, I remember that night very well. Yeah,
it was amazing. So you say you work with excellence to promote excellence, and you work. Tell us about the Gordon Duncan experience.
Yeah, so that was something that we helped to set up in terms of, it was our first big project, I suppose, financially, in terms of giving substantial financial backing to it when it was first set up. Since then, it's kind of, it's on its own 2 feet and has run successfully without us, as it were. But we helped to get it going for the first few years. So this is a kind of big band folk orchestra, I suppose you would call it, trad orchestra, based in and around Perth, although it brings people from all over Scotland. And getting good people in to tutor them, and they put on concerts, and I know they've played at the Trad Awards in the past, for example. So yeah, that was something, the Gordon Duncan experience, that took his name and I suppose took his inspiration and a little bit of help financially from us to begin with. But it's well on its own 2 feet now, based through Horsecross in Perth, and it's a fantastic thing to see these young people. Well, as you know, there's many projects like this across the land nowadays, where you just see young people getting together and making music and having great fun, and that's what it's all about after all. Yeah,
and you just
the excellence thing takes different forms. You know, we so during lockdown, for example, we realised, of course, that a lot of musicians, professional musicians, were really struggling, as many other professions were. So we started giving out a series of. We weren't quite sure how to do it. We realised that people don't like the idea of charity, of just saying, give me some money because I need to pay my electricity bill or whatever. So we made it very simple. If someone sent in a video of them playing a Gordon Duncan tune, that helped us build up an archive of people playing his music, you know, and then we give a grant for that, basically. It was a very, very simple thing. And then more recently, what we discovered was a lot of people were post-lockdown were ready to be playing again, but a lot of the venues were maybe still shut or a bit reticent. So we've given, if you go onto the website, you'll see a particular scheme which is about basically trying to get musicians with venues together, so we kind of underwrite the performance, so the venue aren't going to lose if people don't turn up. So that, you know, we've got those kind of specific schemes that are tailored to whatever the needs are at any given time, and then we've got general grants. And we're open all the time, you know, we're always looking to give away money. So if anyone wants to, you know, check it out, there are obviously certain criteria, but if you can check it out there on the website, you know, we're in the business of giving money out. So,
oh, fantastic. Well, I suppose my next question to you was, what is the Trust's ambitions and plans for going forward in 2023? But you already seem to be pretty busy.
We are pretty busy, yeah. I mean, we've got the regular things that we do. So there's a Gordon Duncan Memorial concert competition recital thing every year at Piping Live. Gordon was very much about bringing the music of different cultures together through his piping, and particularly Scotland, Ireland and Brittany. He loved the music of these 3 places, and he was very much associated with that. And going to the Inter-Celtic Festival in Lorient, where there was a competition, piping competition still is, to bring all of these, every player has to do all of these 3 different traditions, and so that's the kind of format that we use for that one. And so there's these kinds of things that happen sort of every year, as it were, and then it's a case of just trying to keep an eye on what we think is needed at any given time in terms of helping to fund people and move forward from there. So we're just looking now to what our next scheme might be. And we used to run these big concerts in Perth, you'll remember them, I'm sure, in the early days, to kind of get the Trust up and running just in the first few years after Gordon died. And maybe it's time to get back to something like that again. So yeah, we're just sort of sitting with our pencils and our pads at the moment, trying to work out where to go next. I'm
just sitting here smiling, actually, because I remember when I got married, we'd just bought a house, and so we ended up having our honeymoon in a tent in Pitlochry. And, and one day...
You sure know how to show your wife a good time.
I remember we were sitting in a bar in Pitlochry, I can't remember which one, and who comes in but Gordon. And we had a great time just chatting away to him and laughing. It's a lovely memory. Yeah. So finally, Gary, the most important question, I suppose, is what are you looking forward to most? And in a way, how are you going to celebrate the being part of the 20th MG ALBA Scots Trad Music Awards?
Well, this is where I have to come clean and say, for almost the first time in 20 years, I can't go. I'm going to be in Seattle. I'm going across there, but there'll be plenty of representatives from the Trust there. So So yeah, I was dreading this question because I'm really jealous, actually, that I can't actually go. I'll be tuning in though from the other side of the world and giving my moral support. But no, I think just, it's always a great night, and what you do is fantastic. And just as people have called it, it's the kind of folkies Christmas party, quite apart from anything else, the office party. And so yeah, I'm gutted I'm not going to be there this year, but yeah, we'll have a table there with the trust, of course. And just this particular award that you were mentioning that we're behind this year. As you say, it's a sort of legacy that has come out of the lockdown period, but a great one where it's just people doing things, new, innovative things that don't necessarily fit into any of the other categories. And there's more and more of that. And as we can see from the range of nominees, that there's some great stuff going on out there. So yeah, I'll obviously look with interest from the other side of the world at who gets that one.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks very much, Gary. If you want to find out more about Gordon Duncan Trust, go to gordonduncan.co.uk. And if you want to find out more about the Scots Trad Music Awards, go to scotstradmusicawards.com. So thanks again, and we'll see you later, Gary. Thanks.
Yeah, all the best. Have a good night.